This is a Data and Designer Advanced Concepts tutorial, and here we look at cascading filters. The purpose of these is to have multiple data filters that can filter each other, and in turn this provides an intuitive end user experience. So let's get to it right away. Here I've dragged a few controls onto a design surface. I have three selection lists here. One where you can select a sector, another for the region, and a third one for the country. And let me just show you the data. We're working with this table which has countries, regions, and sectors. And the idea here is that when a user selects a sector, you only want to see the regions which are within that sector. Or when a user selects a region, you want to see only the countries within that sector, so you don't get any empty data sets. And it really is an intuitive end user experience. So to accomplish that, we have to configure these filters to filter each other. So let's start with sector. Say its data comes from the regional sales by industry, and we configure it to work to filter by sector name and filter this table by sector name. And if we click on options here, we see it's not being filtered by anything, and that's exactly the way we want it. Now for the region, again, we work off the same data table, set it to filter by region name and filter the data source by that region name. And under options, we can configure it to filter by sector. So that means that only the data for the selected sector will show up in this region filter box. Finally, for the country, it's a similar story. We configure the selection list to filter by country name and filter the data source by country name. And if we click by options, we see that it's filtered by both region and sector. So what that will do is it will only show the entries available for the selected region and the sector. So let's configure these gauges as well. This is just a gauge, so we'll say that it's going to show amount, compare it to a previous amount, and let's say we want to filter by all three of these. And likewise for the category chart, we say its data comes from the regional sales. We'll make the country name column be the category column, and we'll show the amount. And under options, again, we'll filter by all of these. So let's run the preview to see how this looks. And right away, we see right away that because we're not filtering anything, we have a lot of countries here. Now, if I choose one sector here, say energy, we will be filtered by energy. And all of a sudden, it's a lot less countries here. Now, if I choose a region like Europe, we're down to just 3 countries. And again, if I click here on the country, I'm only going to see the European countries for which there is an energy sector available. Now, if I go back to all here, I get a lot more countries here in Europe. Again, it's European countries because we have the Europe filter here, but that's what's available. And finally, if I make a selection here, we know that our chart will display whatever is filtered here. So because this is a category chart, and where the category column is the country name, we may not want to filter by country just so that it shows all the countries in the selected region and sector. So I'll just show you what you mean. So even if you choose a sector and a region and even a country, will still show the countries within the same region because it doesn't really make sense to show a chart with a single country. So that's basically the concept here, to provide multiple filters which can filter each other. And whenever you do that, you always want to go to options of each of these just to double check that there's no circular filtering here and that the right order of filtering is taking place, and that'll allow you to provide a good end user experience.